Gage South and Environs will be home to significant investments over the next 5 years. During the Land Use Plan amendment process, students expressed the need to revisit the future use for Gage South as faculty, staff, and student housing. UBC listened, and a comprehensive planning process is underway.
Future plans for the area include a new UBC Aquatic Centre, a permanent diesel bus loop, some open field space for the students that's bookable, like McKennas Field, and possibly some non-market university rental housing for faculty, staff and students, although no decision has been made yet on the housing.
An advisory group of stakeholders, including graduate and undergraduate students, TransLink, University Neighborhoods Association, and University Endowment Lands representatives, is providing feedback throughout the process and has recommended 4 concepts for public input. Public consultation takes place November 15th to 28th. Have your say, online or in person.
Gage South is the gateway to the university. It should reflect the true nature of a complete university. There has to be some really good urban design so that anybody coming in through University Boulevard will say, fantastic, this is the university that I really want to see.
Let us walk you through each component. The current bus loop is temporary. Our challenge is to find a permanent location and design a facility that has more space and better rain protection and waiting areas for transit riders.
It's important for TransLink to participate in this process early on so that we're engaged with all of the stakeholders involved. Gage South is a technically complex area just because of the nature of the access to the site as well as all of the other land uses that surround the potential exchange site. And trying to make all these pieces fit together is a bit like a puzzle.
Whilst UBC is our near neighbour in general terms for a subgroup of our residents, UBC is a very close neighbour and Gage South is kind of a direct neighbour across the road. So for UEL residents now, if they have an interest, this current consultation is a really important opportunity to input to the process whereby a decision will be made about a more permanent location for that bus loop.
The Aquatic Centre. Our challenge is to find a location that is large enough and allows the current pools to remain open during construction.
The facility is very high use, over 700,000 users annually. Several parts of the building are starting to fail, so in order to keep up with the existing demand and also plan for the future needs of our community, we want to build a new aquatic center that's going to accommodate all those users.
McKennas Field. Our challenge is also to determine the best location for open, bookable space for student activities in this part of campus.
McKennas Field is a crucial portion of the Student Center of UBC. There's a lot of great events that happen on there, such as Welcome Back Barbecue and the Block Party. It's a fantastic place that students come together.
Some of the limitations of the existing McKennas Field are there's very little infrastructure in place for the field. There's no drainage, there's no irrigation, there's no lighting. The new McKennas Field could have potential to add those elements within the field.
Non-market rental housing for students, faculty, and staff. Housing is a hot issue in Gage South. Why is UBC considering this? The high cost of housing in Vancouver makes affordability challenging, which is why UBC is considering bringing non-market rental housing to Gage South for faculty, staff, and students. The units would be smaller and affordable to appeal to younger people. Here are some perspectives.
So whenever the discussion's being had around non-student housing being brought into the area of Gage South, I feel that the initial reaction of students is one of recoil, particularly because there's a strong sense of ownership over this place.
What I don't understand is why we're not making this student-only housing.
I think it's definitely a good idea to have housing in Gage South. As far as I'm concerned, the more affordable rental housing available for students, the better. And it's really not a bother at all for me to have it mixed with young faculty or staff because they're pretty much just like us, and I think I'd party with them any day.
Having faculty and staff housing is a really great idea, but I think that it's at the center of campus, and that's just a place where conflict is going to happen, especially with noise, I think.
When I was a student at UBC, I had such a fantastic residence experience. It's a great environment to work in, but it would be really nice to have that campus community after work hours and after classes end.
is will we find, in 10 or 15 or 20 years that we've used this very central space for housing, which should have been used for more formal learning spaces.
A year-round community would have a great impact on not only us, but all the retail businesses to not only survive, but flourish.
I am actually very pleased that the university is taking the step of building more housing that's going to be accessible for graduate students at the center of campus.
So there's an ongoing petition that was started by a few students that were concerned about Gage South, and so far they've gotten, I think, over 2,000 signatures, and it's really just calling the university to zone the area academic.
Have your say.
November 15th to 28th. Have your say, online or in person.